What's up, YouTube? This is take number 3. Man, I keep on trying to do this video. Anyway, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and become part of the Manye tribe. I kick that political content, trying to deter people from going to prisons so we can end mass incarceration. This story right here is about the different cellies you have when you're in jail. Sometimes you get a good cellie, sometimes you get a bad cellie. Most of the time you get a bad cellie. What do I mean by a bad cellie? Basically a cellie that's going to be disrespectful in the sense that he don't respect himself. A cellie that stinks. A cellie that, you know what I'm saying, they got bad hygiene, bad odor. Whether it's because they're too big, they're obese, or whether it's because they just tired, they on drugs coming down, and they don't want to get up and shower. Sometimes you get bad cellies, man. Every now and then you get a cool cellie. When you get a cool one, you want to hold on to it. But this story right here is about a man who was from Africa Piru, who was who was locked up for the charge of murder. And now anyone looking at this man can see that he was not capable of murder. Anybody looking at him would see that he didn't have the mental capacity to murder anybody. And so it always shocked and amazed me that he was in here for murder. And I always looked at him with a question in my head was, did he do it? And although I never asked him, did you commit the murder? It's not something you ask somebody in prison. It was always a question in my mind. It was always a question. I would look at him and I would just watch him. He would always smile. He was real quiet. So it was hard to picture him killing somebody. And then as I get to know him a little bit more and more, I get to realize that he's a little bit slow. He has a hard time reading, and he has a hard time understanding what is going on, what people are telling him. So he doesn't understand the court proceeding. He doesn't understand the charge. All he keeps saying is, I didn't do it, man. I'm in here for murder, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's all he keeps saying. And I'm like, everybody in prison everybody in jail says they didn't do it because you're facing a charge. It's an open case. You can't afford to tell somebody you did it because you never know if you're talking to an informant or a confidential informant or you don't know who you're talking to. So I tell him one day, I say, let me help you out, man. Let me read through your case, and see what I can do, see what they got on you, see what kind of evidence they have on you. And he agrees to it. But every day he was adamant and say, man, I can't believe them. I can't believe they got me for murder, man. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's all he keeps saying. So as I read the paperwork, I see that it was one Saturday night, his mother and the boyfriend were having a drink. They were having a drink and they were getting real loud and having some type of domestic dispute. During the domestic dispute, Bozo, we're gonna call his name Bozo, from Little Africa, he comes inside the room where they're arguing. I don't know if it was physical violence going on at that time or was it just verbal, but whatever happened, he comes in the room and he ends up getting into it with the mom's boyfriend. They end up getting into it to the point where it's a verbal altercation, things get disrespectful, and the boyfriend of the mom, the mother's boyfriend, socks Bozo. He socks Bozo and they end up getting into it. They get into a scuffle. This is what all the paperwork said. They get into a scuffle. Somehow they're fighting, and somehow Bozo pulls out a knife and blasts him 3 times in the heart. As he blasts him, as he stabs him in the heart, the mother witnessed the son just stab her boyfriend. The boyfriend falls down and collapses, and the son, Bozo, runs off. He runs off, leaves a trail of blood, and he runs off. He just keeps running. He's caught Later on, down the street, as the trail of blood led there. And this is with stories of how the police got the paperwork. This is what the police report said. And so this was the evidence they had against them. They had an eyewitness, which was the mother. They had another eyewitness, which was his sister, I believe. And, well, the victim ended up dying. So I see the pictures, I'm reading through the paperwork, and I look at the pictures. The pictures are gruesome, you know. You see a man dead, holes in his chest. And I would look at my cellie, and I would look at this dead man in these pictures. And I would look at my cellie, and I would look at these dead men on these pictures. And I would listen to the story, and I couldn't imagine that he did this. Something about this wasn't right. And I had told him that I tried to help him to figure it out, and you know, so we could try to figure this out. And he was real excited that I was helping him. He said, "Thank you, yeah, thank you, because I didn't do this, man. I didn't do this." And so I was like, okay, you know, well, maybe God got me in this place for a reason, you know, to help this man out. He can't even read, can't even understand. Somehow they got him charged for murder. That somehow now he has witnesses. I want to say the mother was a witness against him, but that don't sound right. Anyway, there was some type of eyewitness. I believe his sister or the mother or both. But that was the problem with the case. I'm like, why would they say you did it if you didn't do it? And he was saying, so he used to tell me how they were blaming him because it was his other brother who did it. And so they just making him do the time because they know he can do the time. Something like that. They was basically pinning it on him so that the other brother wouldn't have to come do the time, because Bozo is more likely to survive prison, the other brother is not. And so that was still foul. But it's like, in that situation, what do you do? So anyway, I'm helping Bozo. I'm trying to get Bozo out. And then one day, you know, every day we go out and shower. You get real close with your cellie. We have to shower together. We shower together, you know, it's in the county jail. The cells come out at the time to shower. So we're in the shower one time, and the shower is kind of dark. You know, we shower back to back. Now our backs ain't touching, but you know, you just shower. You just kind of shower. You in your own zone. You ain't got time to be looking at no man. You sure ain't got time to be talking to no man. And you know, we've been cellies for like 2 months, and I'm working on this case, and you know, it's going nowhere. And then one day we're in the shower. We're just in the shower washing, and then Bozo is right there next to me, and Bozo says, "I did it." And I said, "What?" He said, "I did it." And I'm not catching on what he said. And we in the shower, you know, it's dark in the shower. We asshole naked. And he says, "I did it." And then it clicked in my mind what he's talking about, you know, and I kind of turned and looked at him, and he said, "I did it." And he go like this. And I think what he was trying to tell me was that he did do the crime, but he couldn't talk to me in the cell. He couldn't say it. This was the only time he felt we wasn't being monitored. Inside the cells, there's a speaker box where the police can listen, or they can press the speaker and say, "Hey, McGrady, you got a visit." Or they can press it and say, "Hey, McGrady, come on down here and get your medication." Anyway, they have an intercom where they press, and it's inside your room. So one of the things that prisoners do is they cover up the box to prevent the police from hearing, or to cover it up so the police can't talk to you. Either way it goes, hold up, man. I don't really like it when that stuff do that. Anyway, like I was saying, now Bozo is telling me he did it. So immediately I get the full understanding of the story. Bozo did kill him. Bozo wasn't such a bozo at all. Bozo was real sharp. Bozo knew not to talk in that room. Bozo didn't really trust me, but Bozo at that time, he felt like I was his source of hope. And so now I knew what we had to do. I had all the facts, all the evidence, all the facts of the case. I knew what he did. I knew, you know, and so now I knew how to work with it. And so anyway, long story short, we end up, he ended up getting involuntary manslaughter because it was a fight. You know, it was a fight. He didn't hate. There was no malice there. Somehow, it was a fight that he was attacked, and during the fight, he stabbed the mother's boyfriend, and the boyfriend ended up dying. And so I tell that story just about, just to point out the differences. Well, to point out a time I had a roommate, man. I was a roommate with somebody who was a murderer, man. And the feelings of being around somebody, I've been around a lot of murderers, a lot of people who was committed, who was charged and convicted of murder. And it turns out they're just regular people, same people you're around right now. You probably sitting next to a murderer right now. You watching this video is a murderer. And I said, I know you don't like to be called that, but you know what you do. You know what you did. Nah, sorry for lie. But hey, it's regular people. You never can tell. It'll be the quiet ones sometimes who you gotta watch out for. It'll be the quiet ones, man. So that's one story right there. I remember a time when I was celled up with a dude charged for murder, and we ended up working together, helping him get manslaughter. He may be out, but that's the story right there, man. I'm King Manye. Go ahead and subscribe and become part of the Manye tribe. And if you get a chance, make sure you check out that super thanks notification. I got the super thanks activated. All the money donated for the next 60 days will be going towards bringing awareness in the community to domestic violence. Once again, this is King Manye. I'm the leader and the captain of my destiny. I will succeed because I believe I will. And I was sent here to inspire those who are great and sometimes tend to forget it.